I read the news so that you don't have to. Did you hear about Netflix and how they lost $110 billion Hollywood war, walked away on purpose, but still somehow made $2.7 billion? Meanwhile, the son of a billionaire just took over half of Hollywood with the help of Washington. Let me explain. So as you can see from the headline, this is obviously about Warner Brothers Discovery. It says Project Warrior, how Paramount beat Netflix in a $110 billion battle for Warner. Yes, as stated, this was a battle for control of Warner Brothers Discovery. Think HBO, CNN, global TV networks, Harry Potter, major sports right, you get the picture. So on the one side, there was Netflix, the $400 billion streaming service, and on the other, you had Paramount Global, backed by David Ellison, son of Larry Ellison, billionaire. You know him, Oracle, friend of Trump's, that guy. Now, here is the key line from the deal. Warner Brothers was something that Netflix wanted but did not need, but for Paramount, it was existential. Meaning for Netflix, this was optional expansion, but for Paramount, they were in survival mode. And when something is existential, you don't blink. So if you'd been following, you would know that Paramount was actually rejected 8 times. 8. They didn't know about no meaning no. What they did was launch something internally called Project Warrior. That meant they increased their bid to $110 billion. They had Larry Ellison be a personal backstop for the debt. They added a financial guarantee. They even secured a US antitrust clearance, and they also threatened a hostile shareholder move. Now, here's where it gets a little bit spicy, because regulatory approval was a big risk for the deal. And as I mentioned before, David Ellison's father is Larry Ellison, and Larry Ellison is a major Trump ally. So that big regulatory risk, the approval risk that they had, suddenly gone. So basically, Ted Sarandos from Netflix was on his way to Washington to meet officials about this regulatory risk, and WBD, Warner Brothers Discovery, announces that Paramount's bid is superior. He was literally on his way to the White House. So by the time he arrives, boom, deal is done. It's almost like cinematic timing. Now, here's the part that some people are missing, that Netflix could have raised their bid, but they chose not to. Why? Because in their own words, this was a nice to have, not a must have. They basically refused to overpay, let their ego win, and they just walked away, and they collected a $2.7 billion break fee. That means that their shares jumped, they got richer, and their balance sheet basically stayed clean. So Paramount basically owns CBS, CNN, HBO Max, Paramount Plus, Warner Brothers Studio, and huge European TV assets. But here's the catch, they are massively leveraged. That means cuts, layoffs, restructuring are soon